What's up, everyone? I'm E-House.
And I'm Lutz.
And we're from Gun Gamers. And today we have a fun video. It's a little bit of a history lesson. As they would say, those who do not study history are doomed to repeat it, and you certainly wouldn't want to be us. So.
Yeah. It's a disastrous trail. Really a journey, some would say. I guess without delaying any farther, we'll kind of start. We'll both give a little history of each of our teams' names, how they started.
First of all, let's establish.
Oh, yeah.
So, if you remember the old intro, back before I got a new one that's way better.
Way better.
Yeah,
$30 better.
Yeah, the old intro said, like, EO and Lowell Soft present or whatever. Or presented by EO, Lowell Soft, I forget. If you go back and watch our old videos, you'll remember better than I do. And it said that, because that's referring to our two teams. I came from Lowell Soft, and he came from EO. These are our old team patches right here. So you start.
All right. So EO is Executive Outcomes. The longer name is Executive Outcomes Mercenary Corporation. We stole the name from an actual, 1980s contractor group back when they were called mercenaries, and that was, cool. My buddy Greg actually is the one that originally made the team, and that was probably, I think, about 2 years before I joined it, which was 2005. Okay. So in 2003, the team really started. 2005, it got awesome because I joined it. From there, played a few seasons. This was while I was in college. That's how he recruited me. He went to the same school as me. We played, I think, 2 or 3 good seasons. And then the team, people started graduating, kind of disintegrated, brought in a couple new people, but the team was kind of dissolving. And then most of us had graduated from college. A couple went off to join the Army, and just people had moved away. So we kind of died off for a few years. Flash forward maybe 3-4 years, and I'm still scrolling through Airsoft forum all the time by myself. And I'm like, man, we should do this again. And Jim and Coulter, who are part of this group now, they were getting back from being in the Army. They had ended their enlistments, were coming back. And I'm like, we should go out and play again. So I talked to the original guy, got his permission, and we restarted EO.
When was this?
This would have been 2014 is when they got out. So that's about the time we really started going religiously again, going several times a year to ops and open plays and stuff. Other than that, I would once in a while grab a person and go to a game a year. It wasn't much. So around 2014, we really revitalized the team, started up again, and then a couple years later is when we met you guys. So
it was 2015 when we linked up. So this is how the two teams linked up. Actually, let's pause there for that. Yeah,
tell your story, and then we'll come together.
So Lowell Soft's story didn't start quite as long ago, but we went for longer continuously.
Yes.
So Lowell Soft, we started in I think 2011 or 2012. I'm really fuzzy on a lot of details, which is a habit in our group, I think, after a few of those. But
thanks, Rochester.
Yeah, so we started, actually Kyle, who is still, one of the Gun Gamers dudes, and is still absolutely someone I defer to on a lot. Kyle started Lowell Soft, and he recruited me, and I'd been playing for probably 4 or 5 years seriously by that point, and he recruited me, and he's like, hey, you seem fun, come join my Milsim team. I'm like, okay, what's it about? He's like, our name is Lowell Soft. And we took our name from an adaptation of Lulsec, which is actually where the logo came from, and why we do it for Louise, because of an old meme about...
Throw that right up on the screen.
Yeah. And we took our slogan from an old meme about a newscaster who misread lulls as Louise. So so that's how our team started. The whole point of our team was that we wanted to be a team that played at Milsim games and went and did whatever, but did not take ourselves seriously at all. So that
bleeds over into current day.
Yeah. You can see how the shenanigans we do now, they did not start with Gun Gamers. So we and Ian actually got onto the team. Redbeard Ian hasn't been on the Gun Gamers channel in a little while, but he got on the team probably in like 2014 when I went to college. A bunch of our current members got recruited through college and through the friends I met there. So we've played pretty consistently. The core members, Kyle, Fox, myself, Ian, we've been involved pretty much all the way through. Then we met with the EO guys at Red Storm East in, was it 2015?
I believe so.
I believe it was 2015.
I was sadly unable to make it, but I think we had 4 or 5
Garrett,
guys go.
Nando, and Joe are the ones I remember. Yeah. I believe they were there.
So they showed up and met up with these guys, linked up, really had great chemistry.
Oh, absolutely.
Found out they're from like the same area. Joe gets back and tells me about it, and he's like, "Do you remember a Kyle?" I'm like, who? I don't know. Who is this?
I'm going to censor the last name.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And he's like, Zekin. I'm like, oh shit. You mean the guy that used to run Hunter's Creek Ops? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, I totally remember him. He's like, he's part of their team. He like runs it. I'm like, this is great. We should hang out with these guys.
So we started running together at events, and we started actually running events together at Hunter's Creek. We got these guys more involved in that, and they staff games I run at River City, so that's awesome. So we started out with doing that, and it just kind of got to the point where, because I'd been running the Gun Gamers channel for about a year before we met up at Red Storm East. And Gun Gamers has kind of its own history, because that was, Ian and I had been doing the YouTube thing for a little while with the E-House and Redbeard show, which hopefully you can't find anymore, because quite frankly the video quality does not compare. Then Ian and I had been running it, but Ian was thinking he might move away because he was looking at getting a teaching job in another state, and I wanted to have a backup of like, oh crap, what if Ian moves? I don't want to do this by myself. Yeah. So I made Gun Gamers, we brought Kyle on board, then Garrett came on board, then Joe, and then more and more people, and eventually Gun Gamers just became the team.
Well, let's not forget a part.
The awkward transitional phase?
Yeah.
Like the puberty of this group?
2016, I asked the group, should we stop being EO/Lulz and just make this a real thing? We'll make a new name. We'll really commit. Yep. Someone was afraid of commitment.
No.
A year later, when it's his idea, suddenly this is genius.
No. Because the thing is, at first, we never talked about it in the context of just making a Gun Gamers. We talked about it in the context
making
of
a new team.
Yeah, making a new team name. So that was the thing. That was like, we tried ELSA, which stood for Executive Lulz Shenanigans Abound.
Which is outstanding.
Which is a hell of an acronym, and we had a snowflake with a bullet on it on some polos made, actually, which was amazing. We'll still wear those polos because they're great. Right. But so that was kind of our first attempt at because we weren't sure if we wanted to totally merge, and there's a little bit of sentimentality to Lowell Soft and EOs where we started.
You gotta retire this to the past.
Yeah, well, this is history now. History.
Bad history.
But so then at first we're like, all right, we'll try to keep it kind of separate but together, kind of a codependent type of situation. But then eventually it was just like, why don't we just all roll under Gun Gamers? This EO Lulz thing is stupid.
And now we have the booming Gun Gamers conglomerate empire that you see before you.
Oh yeah,
that's what we are.
It's such an empire. More importantly, it's the drinking team.
Yeah. So with that, just a little extra to add on to this whole thing is, people ask, "Oh, how do we start a team? How do we start a team?" The truth is, I don't know.
You kind of don't.
You don't. Just find people you enjoy playing with and play with a bunch of times. You don't have to have a name. You don't have to have. Just be a group of dudes that like to go out and play Airsoft. Or women. Women are fine. We have plenty.
But, and that's the point, is actually, because people ask us all the time, like, how do we get recruited to your team? Or we're like, you kind of don't.
Anyone that's been recruited to Gun Gamers has been just absorbed by a blob. It's not so much that we're like, let's scout this guy and
this guy's a super good player.
9 times out of 10, we drank with them at an op and we're like, that guy was hilarious. And then we're like, want to be on Gun Gamers? They're like, okay, I'll take a shirt. And then you're on the team.
Yeah. Or better yet is we'll just abduct you from a game. I mean, that works too.
We did abduct 2 people. They were 18 though, so
they were 18, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just abducted them pretty much.
Yeah.
Brought them to Applebee's, and a short Applebee's mind conversion process later, they were praising Judy with the rest of us. Kavala Judy.
Kavala Judy. So, yeah, if you want to make a team, just start out with a bunch of friends. Have fun. Don't worry about, are we going to be Milsim? Are we going to be Speed Soft? How many ops are we going to go to? Do we have requirements? For the love of God and all that is holy, do not do probies or what are the other terms they have for it?
Prospects.
Prospects.
And stuff like that.
No, it's not a biker gang. It's not a fire department. It's
BB Wars.
Let's
It's
steal
LARP.
Josh Warren's. It's worse than a furry convention. So just come out, have fun. You don't have to worry about restrictions and rules. If you want to add some of that later, fine.
Or if you do want to have a more hardcore like impression team and stuff, then obviously that's a whole different thing.
But also realize you're going to have a smaller group with that.
Yes.
You're not going to find as many people that say, yeah, I only will
At least
run
in your area.
an 11 Bravo kit or something. Like, it's not typical. You're not going to find as many people locally.
Yeah, generally, if you're going to have that type of team where you're going to have super hardcore impressions and crazy requirements and probies and all that, you're only going to be going to like hardcore Milsim games, and you're not going to be talking with these guys and drinking with them on the weekends because they probably live across the country and you see them at games.
My suggestion to you with that is to kind of do what I do. I've got this group of shenanigans and bullshit, but it's great. Sometimes I like to play try hard, and when I do, we get a smaller group of us, 4 or 5 guys that want to go run a hardcore kit and restrictions or do like Milsim West or something like that. And we take a group of 25 or so gun gamers, and I get like 4 of us that'll do it. But that's fine. You just take a smaller contingent to those. But then you still have your fun group on the side that you can do everything else with. So I like that. It gives me a lot of variation in the year. I don't know.
Well, because the games that we roll in Force 2 are the more casual games that everyone can go to. Mm-hmm. But then we just try to get as many people as we can to go to the more hardcore games like Milsim West, Fated Giant, all that kind of stuff. We're going to try to get everyone to Bad Blood this year just because that game's hilarious.
It's special.
Yeah, but ideally we will have we'll have a good situation with that. And that's kind of the situation you want, is where don't have crazy requirements, don't have all this crazy stuff. If you want to ask me how to make a group of buddies a good team, just play together as much as you can and keep fun at the forefront. If you don't keep fun at the forefront and you start taking it seriously, like how much we're winning and how much we're getting objectives and you're not covering your sector all the time, and you start yelling at your teammates and your buddies, like, you're just gonna lose people.
Mm-hmm. I've only yelled at my teammates once.
I yell at Matt daily.
It was hilarious.
I'm Jim. Hi. I was going to chime in with more of a Milsim West experience and one of the hardcore things that we do. We also have a large following nationally now, just because of 2 things that we do at Milsim West. And one is just keeping our really lighthearted camaraderie going, at the same time being rather competent in the field and just not letting the competence override the lightheartedness. You know, what I found is, like, if we're doing our jobs right and we're not yelling at people to do their jobs right, but more asking them to help us do their job right, it's a weird way to talk to people. Like, an example that Eric was saying just now is, you gotta cover your sector. It's not that. It's, I need you to cover me by covering your sector. It's parts of leadership that, we have all kind of figured out in the field.
Which is why we make Jim be the platoon leader every year. Constantly. He's really good at it.
Yep.
Being in the Army for 4 years as an officer really helps you figure out how to get people to do what you want.
Being not in the Army, all I know how to do is kick people awake and tell them it's their turn on watch. Squad lead.
And I just carry the big gun and stay awake forever.
Works very well. It's a good dynamic.
Yeah. So I hope maybe this video was interesting and entertaining. Probably not. We're not very interesting and entertaining people. But as always, praise Judy.
Praise Judy.
Peace. I think that's it.
That's good. That was a good video.